The night of that call was devastating. It was a call from the hospital asking if we were related to Monica Durbin. And you knew something was dreadful.
And it was a street racer racing on the outside of the freeway, hit his nitrous oxide, became a jet, went airborne into me. And I was like, oh crap, this is gonna hurt.
The results were catastrophic. Monica had suffered a shearing brain injury. For weeks, she lay in a coma.
The injuries were severe. They suggested that we gather the family because the odds were not good.
When Mitchell was born and he was premature, at 7 months, neonatal care wasn't what it is today. And my parents didn't have any resources. When Mitch was old enough to go to school, my mom took him to the nearest elementary school, and they refused to enroll him. Finally, they found the school for the blind, and that was very helpful, but they didn't have teachers who had experience with developmental disabilities. Right. Just having the opportunity for him to be here gave my parents a little bit of respite. When Mitch comes here, he's safe. You know that he is allowed to be himself and be independent. I never realized that Mitchell's his own person.
It's been quite a big, long journey for Tony. When he was born, he had a heart condition, and that required open heart surgery when he was 5, and then he's had other surgeries to his ankle.
That, plus I got cerebral palsy.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a lot of
health issues a little bit.
Right, challenges, there you go.
The first time I came here is when I heard about the art studio, and I just looked at it, my dad and I looked at it, we would like to draw.
He would come here, and it was like, even at home, he was happier. It was like a way that he could express himself and feel comfortable, and people understood him. And we just saw a change in him as soon as he started.
There was one person in particular, I mean, they were all wonderful and supportive, but Boo, has made the biggest difference.
We started in 2008.
Yep, I think it was March 2008.
March of 2008.
And he has never skipped a workout.
Never skipped a workout.
Captain Consistency.
Captain Consistency.
Mitch never misses a workout.
They don't tell you this. When you're in a coma, you can hear and see everything, you just can't react.
And what they did was they tried to induce the coma into a deeper and deeper state because her intracranial pressures were severe.
But it didn't work. I kept breathing over the machines.
But she kept fighting. And the nurse said that was the first sign that it's the other way. She's gonna make it, because she fought to keep breathing on her own.
We've just learned so much being here, and they're looking, they look out for him and they talk to us about different things. And I say he's learned patience, he's learned to control his anger. Even more than that, he's learned empathy, and he's developed a two-way street in dialogue. He's not nearly as self-oriented anymore. He asks people about their families and how they're feeling, and he learned that here. And what's Boo tell you about worrying?
Worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it won't get you anywhere.
It's been exciting.
Yeah.
It's been a real exciting year when he went through the job training program here. And
yeah, it was awesome to actually get a job. I'm like, yes, finally, a job that I can actually work straight hours.
For the 4.5 months that she was at the nursing home, she was bedridden. They would help her stand, but she could not stand on her own. Then we went through 2 weeks of rehabilitation.
So after I got the okay to take my first steps, we walked back into Arlington Court, where I was in therapy and stuff, and they saw me walk in by myself. Everyone in the building lined the hallway and gave me a standing ovation. And it was so exciting to see people actually care that I was moving, and it was so amazing and gratifying. And I walked into therapy that day, and they just started crying.
I feel more happy, I feel more independent. I could do more things like paying my own bills, going around buying stuff on the side that I want to get for fun. And that's what I've always been dreaming of doing. So I'm hoping to keep doing this for many years to come, is just working here.
He became much more mature. He There were times when he would come home and he wasn't sure what he was supposed to do during that day. So the next day he would go back and he said, can we make a list of what I need to do each day? And he was solving his own problems, and he was learning how to be more creative with his work as well, and not just in his art, but in his work. And he was able to apply that, and he's just become so much more independent. So
yeah, it makes me really happy.
When we lost our mom in April, Boo came to the memorial service and she came to the wake, and I was just so pleased that Mitchell had a friend there. Because my sister died and my dad, we had our friends, and so did Mitch.
I got connected with an academic person who was creating a new curriculum that was specifically for adults with developmental disabilities and their caregivers about grief. And one of the activities in this curriculum was what had to do with songs and music and connecting that to the grief.
When we had that memorial for my mom, I played the keyboard, and then also I said some things about Mom, about when we was little, what we did and places we went to. And then Boo told me the other day that everybody was getting Kleenex. I wanted to cry, but I didn't. I just wanted to be strong, and I know that she was in a better place.
9 months ago, I was working with Tina, and she said, there is a job fair at the Goodwill on Main Street. I did not want to go to that, but my dad made me, and that's where they hired me on the spot, and I started sobbing. He goes, why are you crying? You just got a job. I was like, these are happy tears, and it was just so amazing.
I think he likes it because for the first time in his life, he gets to choose what he wants to
You
do.
get to do what I want to do, not what they want to do.
But his whole world's just opened up. And even I'm just now beginning to see the potential. I know without question, if it hadn't been for Goodwill and Sage, his life wouldn't be nearly as full and interesting and fun. He's treated with such respect and dignity here.
I love video games ever since I was a child, and I wish that someday that I can actually become like an assistant to help video game designers for the characters that I would love to play.
I have a life again, and it's so good to say I have a life again. When this happened to me, I was 9 months from my wedding, about to graduate college. I was about to be a normal person, and in 1 second it was all ripped from me. I've got almost all of it back, and so now I just want to be normal again. When I work here, I feel like I'm a normal person. They treat me like a normal person, so I love being here. It's so much fun.
And when my mom was dying, she said to me one day, she says, Mitch seems happier than he's been. And I know that gave her tremendous peace of mind. She didn't want to leave us, but she couldn't stay. And to know that Mitch had a place to go, where he had friends, and he had a community and things that he could do and enjoy, I'll just never forget that.
She's embraced here at Goodwill, and she's a part of a team, and it is very encouraging. I don't believe we could have come this far this quickly without the help of Goodwill. She had every excuse not to come out of that coma. She had every excuse not to walk again. She had every excuse never to be mainstream or work again. But she was able to focus on solutions instead of her limitations. And I just have the highest expectations that she will be independent, because she just won't let it go.
Nothing stops me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
When Tony was born, I was so involved in all of his health issues and his development, and it was so overwhelming. And now, I mean, this past year, I can say that he's become a comfort to me instead of a challenge to me. He's become a comfort and a joy, like your children should be.